What in? Logic's back with another one. Today we're going to look at a video from a smaller YouTube channel I just came across. It is called The Background NPC, and she seems like a gamer that does commentary on video games and media and whatnot. It's called The Problem with Women in Games, in parentheses, and why it's killing hype. I don't know what it's about, but this is a topic that we've been covering on this channel, you know, with the anti-woke crowd hating black people, hating gay people, hating women in games. I saw this video get shared and I thought it'd be interesting to cover since it is a topic that I cover on this channel. And before we get into it, man, make sure you like, comment, subscribe. If not one, then all three. I'm trying to make it to 5,000 subs by the 4th of July, and I can only do that with your help by helping like the video, comment on it, sub, share it with all your friends, family, colleagues, people that you share interests with, because if you like it, they may like it too. So with that being said, let's get into the video.
Hi, I think I'm starting to spiral here. In every other kind of media, shows, books, movies, we expect characters to be these complex, emotionally layered, and oftentimes attractive people. CD Projekt Red gave us Geralt in a bathtub, and the entire internet said
blurring out the
absolute
feed.
cinema. But when a female game character is hotter, suddenly it's like the studio committed some kind of war crime. And somewhere between 2014 and now, these types of women just started disappearing more and more from our Western games. You know, women who had beauty and charm and mystery, lip gloss, and the ability to just ruin your life with a single dialogue
Lip
option.
gloss?
So let's talk about the modern female protagonist. How did you feel when I said that? Yeah. That's what I thought. Typically, they're more emotionally walled off, they're vaguely angry, honestly, me too. They have tactical everything, tragic backstories, but a lot of times won't talk about it with you. Muted color palettes, and no cute hairstyles or makeup or joy, and they normally display more masculine traits. And I'm not saying that
well, she's not gay, but she had masculine traits, but Ellie had feminine traits, but was gay, so.
these characters can never work. But if they're not done extremely well, the issue isn't just that so many of them fall flat, it's that they don't resonate at all.
That game was fucking terrible. I loved Wolfenstein. I need to play all of them. I played Youngbloods, and I think I played the New Order. I think that's what it was. And I loved it. So I was like, when Youngbloods was coming out, I'm like, oh yeah, let's play. I got my mans to buy it and everything. I'm like, yeah, let's play Wolfenstein Youngbloods. Man, that game was fucking terrible. And it's not just because the female protagonists are annoying. They're annoying as shit, but that's not the only reason. The game is just not, it wasn't built well. It's not a good co-op experience. They're annoying. It was just a lot wrong with that game.
They're not iconic, they're not aspirational, and they're just not the kind of character you
Aloy?
want to think about after the credits roll. And just like the women that I obsess over in all my books
Aloy
and
and,
TV shows, the smart, complex, stunning characters,
Well, Pan Am wasn't, she's not she's not who you play with, but Pan Am was great.
just want to aspire to the character that I'm playing in a game. She should feel powerful and gorgeous and emotionally relatable in a way that makes sense. But most of the leads that we're getting nowadays, they're not memorable. And let's be honest, they're not exactly breaking the internet. Okay, at least in a good way. The characters that really...
They cherry picking. You're not picking people like Aloy. You're not picking people... Well, I'm thinking about people like side characters like in Mass Effect and shit like that. But granted, Mass Effect is older than what she is referring to now. But I didn't play the new Star Wars. It seems like a lot of people in retrospect for Star Wars Outlaws are saying that game is better than the shit it got from when it first released. I don't know if that's because of the gameplay or because of the character. I don't want to just sit here and think about just Aloy. I'm going to ponder on this, though.
really stand out that make a difference, they've got it all. They've got the looks and the charm and the presence and the personality, and they've got the things that make people care, or at least cosplay. Well, we didn't want to over-sexualize her. Okay, that's fine. I'm on board with that. But somewhere along the way, that turned into she can't flirt, or cry, or be too gentle, or smile too much, or wear makeup. Yes, sorry, I'm gonna hit on that a little bit today. We went from don't objectify her to don't let her feel like a real person. And she can be strong, but not soft, beautiful, but only if it's on accident. Heaven forbid she has feelings and good hair at the same time. And I think about this every time that I get the
I
opportunity.
wish she showed another game in this corner. Like,
To make a custom character in a game, she is always a baddie that has lore. Winged eyeliner, mysterious aura. Every NPC in the game is in love with her, and honestly, they should be, okay? Might have in Baldur's Gate 3. An angel. She walks into a scene and the lighting just poof gets better. Gil starts sweating and Asterion is chomping at the bit. Shadowheart's having some conflictions and her inventory is even more iconic.
A Plague Tale. Plague Tale had a good female lead. She's attractive. She's feminine. Of course, she has to be tough. You know, a lot of these games, if you're gonna be in if the game is about combat, you know, they gotta be tough.
She's got 3 cursed rings, an apple, and a morally questionable tiara that she just doesn't want to take off. And it just makes you wonder, because if certain games let you create characters with so much charm and magnetism, why can't games with dedicated female leads do the same thing? Well, what are some of the more recent female leads that we've been graced with? I think about Frey from Forspoken. She can fight dragons and bend.
I liked her personality. That game was just shit. That game was shit, but I liked her personality. It wasn't the worst.
The laws of physics and literally parkour across dimensions. That's super cool. But for some reason, they gave her the most awkward dialogue and had her deliver every line like she was on hold with customer service. On mute.
I don't know if that was due to the writing. It was probably the writing more than the actress. That's why I said I liked the voice actor did what they were supposed to do, but the writing did come across terrible for Forspoken.
What about Kay Vess from Star Wars Outlaws? She's a scrappy space outlaw, in theory. In practice, she kind of just plays like she just respawned from a bug and isn't sure where she is or why she's there. Okay, well, what about female Ivor from Assassin's Creed Valhalla?
Oh, that's
actually, she was canonically the real one. But you probably wouldn't know that because even Ubisoft was like, dang, that's crazy. Anyway, check out this guy's beard. Or Dragon Age the Veilguard. This game was like 10 years in the oven, and somehow it still came out soggy. It often felt cringy instead of charming, and there really wasn't much mystery, but there was a lot of licturing. And instead of emotionally rich companions, we kind of just got chronically online Twitter bios and fantasy outfits. I think you get the point, but I'm gonna say it anyway. We need female characters with range. With presence, with a little drama, if you will. The girls who made you feel something were not perfect. They were messy and charismatic and complicated in the best way. Sadie Adler from Red Dead 2, her husband literally dies and she goes, cool, I'm going feral now. And grieving? Yes. Stunning? Yes. Horse girl? Absolutely. But I would let her run me over with that horse. Chloe Fraser from Uncharted. She's flirty and morally flexible and somehow...
See, I'm a little confused because it feels like she's comparing side characters to main characters now. Like, let's see what else she says. She's talking about side characters instead of main characters. I don't know if maybe she's going to tie that into something possibly, but everybody else she named was main characters. Now she's talking about support.
Still makes betrayal feel hot. Tifa Lockhart from Final Fantasy. She could literally take down a behemoth in one hit and then quietly make you some soup and ask if you've been sleeping okay. Max from Life is Strange. A super sweet, anxious girl who accidentally rewrote the entire space-time continuum just because she had too many feelings. And honestly, we love a relatable queen. Or Nabooru from the Legend of Zelda series. She leads armies and fights evil, and somehow she still looks like she's posing for a Vogue cover the entire time. Probably my first girl crush. This should not be controversial, but I'll say it. We need to bring back a great male leads, okay? And not because women can't carry a story, but because we've just like chucked balance off a cliff. It seems like the knee-jerk reaction to underrepresentation accusations became all female everything forever, no notes. And now, after we've gotten so many forgettable female leads, not you, Ellie and Aloy, my queens, but
That's why I'm like Aloy, but I'm gonna be honest, I could not think of one outside of Aloy. I love A Plague Tale. I love that game. I don't know if she never played it or she's not thinking about A Plague Tale. I forgot her name. I'm not good with remembering names all the time, but I forgot their names. But because they got like olden names from A Plague Tale. But yeah, she was that game. I think they had like nominations for best acting or something, and for I believe this Requiem, the second one. But both A Plague Tale's games were really good, and she's a great female lead. I just can't remember her name.
With all the others, we've hit this weird place where the audience is already exhausted before the trailer even ends. And unfortunately, caught in the crossfires of this has been Naughty Dog's new IP, Intergalactic, and Ghost of Yotei. But when I think about just well-written women in games,
Can't speak on them yet because we ain't seen them.
what's interesting is some of gaming's best women were not even the protagonist, but they were the scene stealers. Ciri from The Witcher 3 is quite literally the entire reason that Geralt is risking his life across these war-torn kingdoms, and she's this complicated, beautiful, just wild young girl who's somehow still more mature than everyone else around her. Or Yuna from Final Fantasy X, this graceful, selfless, and devastating character who's literally carrying the hopes of an entire world on her back, and then she still apologizes when she inconveniences you. And if that's not being a girl, I don't know what is. Or Midna from Twilight Princess. All right, she's a little bit annoying at first, but she bullies Link for like the first 30 hours of the game, saves his life, opens a dimensional portal, and then vanishes all with a glowing tear. He never says a word to her the entire game, but she says everything with her absence. Truly a legendary situation. And well,
Amicia, that's her name, Amicia.
Western games are nervously nerfing kind of every trace of femininity from their female characters. Eastern devs are like, yeah, here's a mysterious woman who could kill you and make you cry about it. You're welcome. Capcom? They've been in their iconic woman era since like forever. Resident Evil is one of my all-time favorite series, and Jill is tactical, calm, and easily has the cleanest bob in gaming.
Jill.
Ada is mysterious, stylish, and she might lie to your face, but she's still gonna get a fan cam. Claire is this beautiful, kind, capable woman who takes zero nonsense, and Lady D had like 10 minutes of screen time in Village, and she still owned Halloween for like the next 2 years.
She's a sexual icon at this point, though. Is that even fair?
They're hot, they're cool, they've got so much range, and you remember them. You want to be them, or you just kind of want them to emotionally damage you just a little bit. It's the same kind of energy with Monster Hunter Wilds. They dropped a couple of composed, stunning women, and the internet instantly started to cosplay. They're expressive and graceful, and they've just got that magnetism about them. And that's why the boys are in love, the girls are in love, and I am in love. And then we've got From Software, who just casually releases the most haunting, elegant women in modern gaming like it's nothing. The doll from Bloodborne, our favorite Victorian comfort character. She's soft-spoken, she's gentle, and she definitely knows more than she's letting on. Or Lady Maria, tragic, terrifying character with perfect posture, and 10 out of 10, I would let her fight me again. Or Ronnie from Elden Ring, who I was quite literally on my knees for, and I made sure to do every single step of her quest so I could serve her as me Elden Lord. Or Melina. Melina was so glowing and quiet and just sad.
I ain't played a lot of these games. Boy, these RPGs I do not be in, I be missing.
And then when she leaves you at the side of grace, like, my work here is done. And you're just devastated, and you're just sitting there all by yourself, alone, in your little tunic. These ladies do not need exposition dumps or 80 cutscenes. They just show up and drip elegance, drop one line of vague sorrow, and then next thing you know, you're obsessing over cosplays and fan art for like the next month. I say all of this because femininity is not outdated. It's not shallow, and it's not something that you need to water down for the story to be taken seriously. It's range. So please let women be cute and manipulative, kind and a little chaotic, soft but have sharp teeth, pretty, powerful, emotionally devastating, and the reason the protagonist starts journaling in a cave somewhere. Because femininity is Zelda, steadfast and radiant and standing between her kingdom and ruin with nothing but hope and stubborn grace. Or Triss, who's clever and compassionate and plays politics with you with a super soft smile that just makes you kind of forget that she's winning. Or Bayonetta, who's playful and provocative and treats every battlefield like a runway and then never manages to smudge her lipstick. Or Lightning, who's a beautiful, guarded, and grieving character who carries the entire weight of the world in 6-inch heels. And when female characters are done right, they're not flat or abrasive or weak. They're actually narrative gold. They have tension and softness that stabs, or beauty as a weapon. Let's let women be gorgeous and terrifying, sweet and strategic, gentle and unhinged. Let them be feminine again.
I'm not mad. I think that there's a little truth into what she's talking about, because as you see, I sat here and struggled to think about newer games that had great female lead protagonists or whatever. And it was hard, you know, like when you're thinking about a game that's about a story, you know, like I said, I thought about Aloy and Ellie, and, you know, she pointed out Abby, but she was I don't even know if she's a protagonist or antagonist in The Last of Us. But, you know, I was struggling to think of that, and I'm like, Aloy, Ellie, like I said, Amicia, now that I remember her name, Lara Croft. I don't remember when the last Tomb Raider came out. I don't remember the year, but she said, I think after like 2014, you're just seeing these different variations of female leads that aren't memorable. And I do think that the fact that I struggle to think of one says something. And I guess I like the approach of this video. It wasn't to say like, I'm glad I didn't think that she was going to be anti-woke, where she started talking about, oh, the women suck and, you know, they shouldn't lead anything. She didn't even approach it from that. She's just saying, like, let female leads be great again. Like, let them be feminine. Let them be sexy. There's nothing wrong with them. I do think that I've said this in a couple of my past videos where we reacted to, where I was like, it does seem like they go out of their way to make women unattractive. And it's not to say that every woman has to be attractive in a game, but nobody generally you don't always want to be looking at unattractive people in general in games, you know. But I do like her approach to this video. I think that was it was thoughtful. She made some good examples. She named a lot of games that I never played. I never heard of a lot of those women, but the ones I did know and recognize, I got where she was coming from. I do think that there's a difference in how they're approaching females in video games now, and I think that that was constructive criticism. But if you made it to this point in the video, man, make sure you leave a like, comment, sub. If not one, then all three, and I'm gonna catch y'all in the next one. Peace.